Spiritual struggle, stopping thoughts. In a righteous path I train, and we should continue training. We're going to look at passions and the stages of fighting passions in order to stop the thoughts. Thoughts of sin come mainly from outside of us. They give pleasure, a certain type of pleasure, whatever that is, like taste, a sense of power, a sense of control, whatever it is, may hide under a cover of righteousness, such as protecting the weak, or justice, or fairness, may look innocent, such as harmless flirting. Is there a thing such as harmless flirting? They become wild passions with time. They grow roots, and then they control the internal system. They control our mind. So how do thoughts develop? First, a thought appears near the mind. A trespass happens. We have a discussion with that thought. Then, with time, we accept the thought. This is a state of capture. We say the mind is captured. It becomes a captive of this thought or idea. And then the next step is committing sin. So this is what happens. This is how thoughts develop. If the passion has roots, all these happen in 2 seconds, very, very quickly. And the victim seeks ways to commit sin. Let's look at anger as an example. There are many causes of anger. Someone says something we don't like. Something happens that disturbs us. We want something, but we cannot get it. Or maybe there's rage inside of us. We judge others. We are complaining. Many different causes. And then a thought appears. You have to defend yourself. Now look at this excuse. You have to defend yourself. You try to have a discussion with the idea, but and then the idea says, look what happened. Say it's true, so you're still not convinced. Then the thought continues, this is not fair, you have to defend yourself. Then your mind becomes a captive, and you start thinking, I have to defend my rights. Then you move into committing sin. You get angry, you fight, you plan for revenge. So how do these thoughts grow roots? How do they become passions? The idea repeats from one day to the next. The capture repeats. The mind is getting captive every day. The mind becomes lazy. It doesn't want to discuss anymore. It's just accepting. The action repeats. The mind is asking for this certain satisfaction that is coming from anger, from rage, from the taste of food, from the sense of power. The mind is asking for this satisfaction, and a habit has formed. So the passion grows roots. Remember, there's no freedom with sin. Passion is getting stronger, captivates us. Anger grows roots. With time, we are not discussing the idea of anger anymore. Anger is taking control. We have quick reactions. So something happens, we do not think. We immediately have a quick reaction. We start yelling, we start fighting. We try to avenge everything because this is taking control of our personality. Even if something happens far away, that doesn't concern us, suddenly we get angry. So what is required here? A genuine desire to change course. We need to genuinely desire to stop the passion, whatever it is. We need to really feel disgusted with sin. So we repent and we confess the sins to remove their effect upon us, to remove the effect of sin on our mind. Then we become free to fight. Doesn't mean that we won the fight. No, after confession, we are free again to start the fight. So sin has no control over us, but we have to fight. We ask Jesus to help us control our thoughts and actions, because the fight is about to start. We get angry at the thoughts that are attacking us. Instead of getting angry at people, we get angry at ourselves. Remember that our ability to resist gets weaker during discussion. So if we discuss these thoughts, we discover that they are very logical, and it's difficult for us to win a discussion with these thoughts. Remember that. Resistance, our ability to resist, gets weaker if passion grows roots. So in general, if we are fighting a passion that has roots, then we are weaker. And we have to fight more and more and more. But we will see how. For immediate protection, we use the sign of the cross plus Jesus' prayer plus any hymn that we know. And during the day, we repeat Jesus' prayer. The stages of fighting passions. We're starting with the current situation, which I'm calling stage 0. We have an ignorance of the nature of thoughts. This is the current situation of most people on the planet. We have an automatic passionate reaction. Whatever that passion is, the passion controls us. And this is the situation of most people on the planet. They are under the controls of certain passions. In case of anger, we have an angry person, rages against anything that happens. The person screams and fights, because that person is under the control of the passion. Stage 1. In stage 1, we notice when the thoughts reach acceptance. So we started the fight against a passion, and we know there are 4 stages of thoughts. So we have noticed that we have reached stage 3 of the thoughts, which is acceptance. We have accepted the idea of the passion. This means the passion is still strong in us, but somehow we are able to stop the act. Let's see an example for the case of anger. Something happens, we get upset, we get angry, but we don't scream, we don't fight. So in stage 1, it means we are able to stop committing sin, to stop the action of sin. That is stage 1 in fighting against passions. In stage 2, we notice the discussion and we stop before acceptance. So we are starting to have some internal control over our thoughts. We are not acting automatically anymore. Now we recognize the discussion. We stop just before acceptance. In case of anger, something happens. We get upset because of this something that happened, but we don't get angry. So we have stopped before accepting the idea of anger. Although we are upset, we don't get angry. We manage to stop it. In stage 3, we notice the type of thought that is attacking us, and we decide not to discuss, not to enter into a discussion with this thought. So now the passion is weak. It's not in control of our mind anymore. We are mostly in control. We recognize the type. We said, I don't want to discuss this. We need to attack the passion every time. Every time it appears, we have to prevent the discussion and say no. So in case of anger, something happens, we blame ourselves for that something that happened. If it is a personal matter, we say, maybe I did not explain well enough. Maybe I forgot to tell that person. And we try to find excuses for the other person by blaming ourselves for it. Or we may say, may it be blessed. Whatever has happened, we just accept it and we say, may it be blessed. So in this case, we don't get upset, we don't get angry. We recognized what happened, we took control, we blamed ourselves, and we prevented ourselves from getting upset or getting angry. In the last stage of fighting passions, we are able to block the thoughts immediately. The passion is now under control. It's not moving on its own anymore. We don't need to discuss it. We recognize this is a passionate thought, we block it immediately. And we keep watch so that the passion doesn't grow again. In case of anger, something happens, we automatically say, may it be blessed. Or if there's a person that disturbed us, we say, may God enlighten you. May God bless you. In this case, we keep our internal peace. We have managed to stop the thoughts, stop the passions, and we are living peacefully. Now, a general notice for the fight. You cannot win without Jesus. You need to pray, you need to ask for help, and then as a struggler, you will see how Jesus is helping you control the passions. Moving through the stages takes time. So don't expect to get rid of passions that have been in there for years. You cannot get rid of them in a couple of weeks. It's going to take time. For example, controlling the acts may take months to be able to control external actions. For example, anger, to stop yelling and fighting, it might take up to 1 month, maybe more, depending on the situation. So you have to be patient with yourself. Controlling thoughts also takes months. To stop getting angry quickly, it may also take a month, or maybe more. To stop getting angry at all, it's going to take many, many years, because anger has many causes, as we saw before. and only saints or very advanced people don't get angry at all about anything. Blocking thoughts, which means controlling all the passions, in the end, it's going to take several years of practice, several years of training. So be patient with yourself, get ready for a long struggle, take the passions down one by one with the help of a spiritual father. I hope you benefit from this video. God bless you.